You are here. You arrived. And that alone, simply being here, beneath your covers, in the warmth and the quiet, is enough. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The world outside can wait. Every task, every thought, every worry that has been trailing behind you all day like a long coat catching on door frames, you can set it down now. Right here. Right at the threshold of this moment. You do not need to carry it any further tonight. Tonight, I am going to share 12 quiet wonders with you. 12 facts so gentle, so vast, so beautiful, that your mind will have nothing left to grip. There is nothing to remember. Nothing to hold on to. Nothing to solve. You are simply invited to float. Exhale gently, let it all go. So close your eyes, if they are not already closed. Let your body sink a little deeper into whatever is holding you right now, the mattress, the pillow, the warm weight of your blanket. Feel how it all rises to meet you. Feel how, even now, you are being cradled. Take one slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment. And release. Inhale slowly, through your nose. We begin now. Softly. Together. There is nowhere to go, and no rush to get there. Just drift, just listen, just let the night carry you. Exhale gently, let it all go. There is a word in physics, inertia. The tendency of a thing at rest to stay at rest. And right now, quietly, invisibly, your body is learning that word. It is rehearsing it. Your muscles, those small, loyal, tireless servants who have carried you through every moment of this long day, are beginning, one by one, to let go. Start at the very top of your head. Imagine the skin across your scalp becoming loose. Soft. As though someone laid a warm cloth across your brow and the heat of it has seeped all the way through to the bone. Your forehead, so often furrowed in thought, knotted with concentration or concern, is now wide and smooth and open. Like a field of quiet snow. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Move down. Feel your jaw. Most people don't notice how tightly they hold their jaw until someone asks them to release it. Let yours fall. Let the back teeth separate slightly. Let your tongue rest against the floor of your mouth like a small, sleeping animal. Let the muscles beneath your ears, those places where people carry so much quiet tension, simply dissolve. Your neck. The pillow holds your head so completely, so entirely, that your neck has nothing left to do. It no longer needs to support anything. The muscles along your spine, those long, vertical rivers of effort, are widening now. Spreading. Like ink dropped into still water, they diffuse outward and thin into nothing. Exhale gently, let it all go. Scientists call this process progressive muscular relaxation. But the word that matters is not scientific at all. The word is, release. And releasing is not a thing you do. It is a thing you allow. There is a difference. Doing requires effort. Allowing requires only surrender. Your shoulders. Let them drop. They have been raised, perhaps imperceptibly, for hours. Perhaps for days. Let them fall now to the absolute lowest point they can reach, and then let them fall a little further still. Feel the mattress receive them. Feel how willing it is to hold you. It asks for nothing in return. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Your arms grow warm. Then heavy. There is a quality of heaviness that is not unpleasant, it is the heaviness of trust. The heaviness of a sleeping child being carried. You are not limp with exhaustion. You are heavy with safety. With stillness. With the deep animal knowledge that you are in a place where nothing can harm you. Your hands. Your palms. Uncurl the fingers if they are curled. Let the fingers lie open, like petals at the end of a long summer day, spent, and gorgeous, and at rest. The knuckles soften. The small bones of the wrist ease. Even the fingertips, those extraordinarily sensitive instruments of touch and reach, go quiet. Exhale gently, let it all go. Gravity, that ancient and patient force, has been pulling at you since the moment you were born. Tonight, for once, you let it win. You stop pushing back. You stop holding up. You simply allow the earth to do what it has always wanted to do, to bring you down, down, down into warmth and softness and rest. Your hips. Your thighs. The long muscles of your legs that have moved you from place to place all day, they have earned this darkness. Feel them melt outward, away from each other, as though the very marrow of your bones has turned to warm honey and is slowly, sweetly seeping toward the sheets. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Your calves. Your ankles. Your feet, which have stood and walked and carried and balanced all day, and asked for nothing. Let the arches fall. Let the toes splay. Let the soles of your feet feel the soft end of the mattress and rest there as if they have been waiting their whole lives for exactly this surface, exactly this moment. You are heavier than you were a minute ago. And heavier still. That is not something you imagined. That is real. Your muscles have released tension so fine, so chronic, so habitual that you had forgotten it was there. And with each exhalation, more of it dissolves. More of the weight of the day lifts, even as your body grows more wonderfully, peacefully heavy. Exhale gently, let it all go. Let your body be held. Completely. Absolutely. Not a single part of you needs to support itself right now. The bed is doing it all. The earth is doing it all. And you are simply here. Sinking. Softening. Settling. Like snow that has been falling all day and has finally, gently, reached the ground. Somewhere in the world right now, in a forest so old and so still that no road runs near it, a tree is speaking. Not with sound. Not with movement. But with something older than both, chemistry, and connection, and the slow, patient language of roots. Beneath every ancient forest lies a network so vast and so intricate that scientists, when they first discovered it, reached for a comparison and found only one thing large enough: the human brain. They called it the Wood Wide Web. A shimmering, living lattice of fungal threads, each thread thinner than a single human hair, threading through the soil like a million whispered sentences. Inhale slowly, through your nose. And through this network, the trees speak. A mother tree, the tallest, oldest, most root-deep inhabitant of the forest, sends sugar to her seedlings in the dark. Not because she was asked. Not because she expects anything in return. She simply gives, the way breathing gives air to the lungs, the way the tide gives the shore a nightly washing. Because it is what she does. Because abundance, in the language of forests, is the only grammar there is. When a tree is attacked, by insects, by disease, by drought, it sends a signal through the network. A pulse of chemical meaning that travels root to root, thread to thread, through the dark underground passages of the earth. And the other trees receive it. They adjust. They thicken their leaves or concentrate their resins. They prepare. Not because they can see the danger. But because they trusted the signal. Because they were listening. Exhale gently, let it all go. Imagine, for a moment, that you could feel the forest from where you lie. That, passing through the walls of this room, through the soil beneath the city or the suburb or the street, the roots were reaching. That somewhere out there, in the blue-black dark of a deep wood, a birch tree was exhaling. Quietly. Patiently. Simply being. You are part of a living planet. That is not poetry. That is biology. The air in your lungs right now was exhaled by a forest. The oxygen molecules drifting through your bloodstream as you read this were assembled, one by one, in the chloroplasts of leaves, in trees that may be thousands of miles away, or decades old, or both. You are breathing the breath of forests. You have always been breathing it. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The forest does not hurry. That is the thing about a 1,000-year-old tree that is almost impossible to hold in the mind. 1,000 years. In that time, every human structure within sight of that tree has risen and crumbled. Languages have been born and gone silent. Borders have moved like watercolors on wet paper. And the tree has simply grown. Ring by ring. Season by season. With extraordinary patience and no apparent effort at all. Tonight, you are on the same planet as those trees. You are in the same night. The same dark that covers you covers them. And they are not worried. They are not restless. They are doing the thing they have always done in the dark, they are growing. They are receiving. They are sending quiet messages of nourishment through the earth, and asking nothing back. Exhale gently, let it all go. There is a type of tree, the quaking aspen, that grows in enormous colonies where every individual tree is connected to every other one by a shared root system. What looks like a grove of separate trees is, underground, a single organism. The largest known example, in Utah, is called Pando. It is estimated to be 80,000 years old. It has survived ice ages. It has watched continents shift. And it is still there, still growing, still speaking its slow silent language beneath the snow. You are not separate either, though it can feel that way in the dark hours. You are connected, to the people who love you, to the planet that holds you, to the long chain of breathing beings who came before you and whose atoms now drift through your own blood. The isolation of insomnia is a trick of the thinking mind. But the body knows better. The body knows it belongs to something vast. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Let your thoughts, for a moment, become roots. Let them reach downward rather than spinning outward. Not grasping. Not gripping. Just exploring the dark, soft, quiet interior of the earth. Finding their way. Releasing. A root does not worry about where it is going. It simply grows toward moisture, toward warmth, toward the path of least resistance. It trusts the darkness entirely. You are alive on a living planet. Right now, in forests you will never visit, trees are photosynthesizing even the faint light of the moon. Owls are lifting from branches on wings so soft they make no sound. Foxes are moving through underbrush like orange flames, low and bright and quick. The whole living world is here with you in this night. You are not alone in it. You have never been alone in it. Exhale gently, let it all go. Let the forest hold you, the way it holds everything, without fanfare, without judgment, without the need for anything in return. Let the dark be the soil you rest in. Rich and deep and patient and old. And let your thoughts grow quieter, softer, thinner. Let them become roots. Let them sink. Let them dissolve into the warm and welcoming dark. Close your eyes and imagine a clear night sky. Not the sky above a city, threaded with orange light pollution and the blinking of distant planes. Imagine a sky the way your ancestors knew it, black and absolute and blazing with fire. So many stars that the dark between them seems like the exception rather than the rule. A sky so full of light that it casts shadows. Now choose a star. Any star. A small one, perhaps, a modest pinprick of silver near the edge of your imagined sky. That star is sending you a message. It has been sending it for an almost incomprehensible amount of time. The light reaching your eye from that distant sun began its journey before any human civilization existed. Before language. Before fire. Before the first tentative footprint in wet earth. Inhale slowly, through your nose. That star may not even exist anymore. The light you are seeing, the light that would touch your face if you stood outside and tipped your head back, left its source thousands of years ago. The star itself may have already collapsed, exploded, burned out into a cold dark dwarf drifting silently through space. But the light kept going. Kept traveling. Kept faithfully carrying its original message across the void, through time, to arrive tonight at your particular patch of sky. There is something profoundly comforting in this, if you let it land. The universe is an extraordinarily patient sender of messages. It does not hurry. It does not worry whether its signals will arrive in time. It simply sends them, and then waits. Decades. Centuries. Millennia. And eventually, always, the light arrives. Exhale gently, let it all go. The nearest star to our sun, a dim red dwarf called Proxima Centauri, is so close, on a cosmic scale, that its light takes only 4 years to reach us. 4 years. That seems brief until you remember that light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. In the time it takes that light to cross the nothing between there and here, a human baby can be born, learn to walk, learn to talk, start school. And that is the closest star. The nearest neighbor. Everything else is so much farther. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The Milky Way, our galaxy, the vast spiral island of stars we inhabit, is 100,000 light-years across. A beam of light traveling at full speed from one edge to the other would take 100,000 years to complete the journey. 100,000 years ago, anatomically modern humans were beginning to leave Africa. They had fire. They had tools. They had ochre-painted hands that left their outlines on cave walls that we still find today. And the light that left the far edge of the Milky Way at that moment has not yet arrived. We are swimming in ancient light. The universe is always sending us its past. Every time you look at the sky, you are looking backward through time, seeing not what is, but what was. The present moment of a star is always invisible to us. We can only ever see its history, its echo, the long afterglow of its life reaching toward us across distances that collapse the imagination. Exhale gently, let it all go. And yet, and this is the thing worth holding, that light is here. It arrived. After all that traveling, all that darkness, all those unimaginable miles of cold empty space, it arrived. It reached this small, blue, spinning world. It reached your particular night. And if you were outside right now, beneath a dark sky, it would reach you. It would touch your face. An ancient fire's final generous gesture, delivered across eternity, to you. Nothing about tonight is urgent. Not in the context of the universe. Whatever felt large today, the unanswered message, the unfinished task, the worry that has been circling like a bird that cannot find a place to land, none of it registers at the scale of starlight. None of it requires a solution before morning. The universe has been patient for billions of years. You can borrow a little of that patience tonight. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Let your body float in the darkness. Let the ceiling above you become transparent, and beyond it the sky, and beyond that the ancient light of 1,000 dead suns making its quiet pilgrimage toward your face. You are the destination of a journey that began before you were born. You are the recipient of a message written in fire and delivered by light across distances that no mind can truly hold. You are small, yes. But smallness is not diminishment. A grain of sand is small. A drop of rain is small. A single note of music is small. And yet, in the right context, in the right moment, with the right quality of attention, they are everything. They are sufficient. They are astonishing. As you are. As this moment is. Exhale gently, let it all go. The stars are patient tonight. They have been patient for billions of years, and they will continue their long burning long after this night ends and the next begins. You do not have to match their endurance. You only have to rest beneath them. You only have to let their ancient light wash over the closed skin of your eyelids and carry your mind, gently, away. In the deepest chambers of the world, where the floor of the ocean lies cold and dark beneath miles of pressing water, the sea is moving. It has always been moving. Long before there were shores for waves to break against, the ocean was breathing. Rising, falling, circling. A vast, salt-heavy respiration that began before any creature swam in it, before any fish opened its first fin, before any life at all. Right now, in the Pacific, the largest body of water on Earth, an ocean so wide that all the world's continents could fit inside it with room to spare, a wave is forming. A breath of wind touching the surface, a dimple becoming a ripple becoming a swell. The swell moving outward, gathering itself, traveling for days and thousands of miles across open water. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The wave does not know where it is going. It does not choose its destination. It does not worry about what it will find at the shore. It simply moves, drawn by forces that were set in motion long before it existed, the spin of the earth, the breath of the atmosphere, the cold deep thermohaline currents that circle the globe like the slow blood of the planet itself. Breathe in rhythm with it. Slowly. A wave builds over hours. Rises. And when it finally reaches the shore, anywhere, it breaks. Not violently, though sometimes that too. But often, softly. A long, curling exhalation of white water spreading flat across wet sand. A sigh. A release. The wave giving itself entirely to the land, and then receding. Drawn back. Gathered again. Return to the source. Exhale gently, let it all go. Your breath is doing the same thing. Right now, as you lie still and let these words float past you, your chest is rising and falling in its own ancient rhythm. Your lungs, those two soft, branching, extraordinarily complicated organs, are doing what they have done every moment of every day of your entire life, without a single conscious instruction from you. They are breathing. Faithfully. Automatically. The way the ocean makes waves. Because it is their nature. Because they cannot help but do it. The ocean's waves travel in sets. Experienced surfers and sailors know this, sets of larger waves alternate with periods of smaller, quieter water. The sea has its own grammar of rhythm. An ebb and flow within the ebb and flow. And even in the quietest period between sets, the water is still moving. Still feeling. Still alive with the invisible traces of every storm and wind and current that has ever touched it. Inhale slowly, through your nose. There is a beach, there are many beaches, actually, where the waves arrive in almost perfect 12-second intervals. Not because anyone planned it. Not because the ocean has been coached. But because of the extraordinary physics of wind and water and depth, the sea arrives at certain shores like a metronome. 12 seconds of building silence. Then the sound, the long, soft, crashing release. Then silence again, drawing back. Then the build. Then the break. Breathe with it. 12 seconds in, perhaps. 12 seconds out. Not forced. Not held. Just the natural tide of your own lungs. Feel how the air moves in through your nose, cool at the tip of your nostrils, warmer as it descends. Feel your chest lift slightly. Your ribs press outward. Your belly soften and expand. And then the release. Warm air out through the mouth. The chest falling. The body settling a little further into whatever is beneath it. Exhale gently, let it all go. On every coast of every continent right now, a wave is breaking. On the west coast of Ireland, where the Atlantic arrives enormous and grey and full of the memory of deep water, waves are crashing against old black rock, sending spray 30 meters into the air. On a Balinese beach where the water is the color of shallow glass, small, polite waves are pushing shells a few centimeters up fine pale sand. On an Arctic shore where the sea is half ice, slow, heavy swells move like breathing beneath a surface that barely yields. All of it. All at once. All in this same darkness. The planet is surrounded by motion, and yet, from space, from the vantage point of an astronaut floating in the profound quiet above the atmosphere, the Earth appears still. Serene. A blue jewel turning slowly in the dark. The storms, the waves, the beating of billions of hearts and the sighing of billions of lungs, invisible at that distance. Everything resolved into peace. Inhale slowly, through your nose. You are already at that distance from your own turbulence. Your thoughts, whatever they were when the day was loud, are quieter now. Farther away. Like storms seen from altitude. You can see that they are there, perhaps. But their sound has gone. Their urgency has softened. They are just weather. Weather passes. Everything passes. The wave comes in, and then it leaves. And the ocean keeps its rhythm. Steady. Patient. Unconcerned. It has been making this sound since before any creature existed to hear it. It will make this sound long after the last pair of ears has gone quiet. And tonight, it is making it for you. Or not for you. Exactly, the ocean has no intentions, but the sound is there. The rhythm is there. And you are here, breathing in it. Wave after wave after wave of soft, warm air. Exhale gently, let it all go. Breathe in like a wave building. Breathe out like a wave releasing everything it traveled so far to give. And then be still, like the pause between waves, the perfect, suspended, quietly thrilling moment of absolute rest between one breath ending and the next not yet having begun. That pause. That is the place sleep lives. That is where you are going. Into the long, warm pause between. Your brain weighs approximately 3 pounds. In absolute terms, this is not much. A large grapefruit weighs more. A pair of good boots weighs more. And yet this 3-pound marvel, folded into elaborate origami, laced through with 100 billion neurons, each one connecting to thousands of others, is the most complex structure we have ever discovered in the universe. More intricate than any galaxy. More finely tuned than any instrument. And right now, as you lie here in the gathered quiet of your room, your brain is beginning one of its most important processes. A process so vital, so elegant, so mysterious that scientists only discovered it relatively recently, and are still, slowly, carefully, with the reverence that such discoveries deserve, working out its full implications. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The glymphatic system. Named for the glial cells that control it. During waking hours, your brain operates under a kind of mild compression. The cells are packed together tightly, the space between them narrow. But as you drift into sleep, something remarkable happens. Those cells shrink slightly. The channels between them expand, by as much as 60%. And through those suddenly spacious channels, cerebrospinal fluid flows. Cerebrospinal fluid is the clear, weightless liquid that surrounds your brain and spinal cord. During sleep, it moves with a purpose. It washes through the expanded spaces of the sleeping brain like a slow tide through tide pools, reaching into every crevice, touching every corner. And as it flows, it carries away the metabolic waste products of the day's thinking. The proteins, the cellular debris, the byproducts of all that extraordinary neurological work. It carries them away, out through the drainage pathways of the body, to be processed and gone. Exhale gently, let it all go. Think of it this way. Imagine a busy kitchen, pots on every burner, dishes stacked, steam rising, the constant motion and heat and noise of preparation. That is your waking brain. Extraordinary. Productive. But also, generating waste, producing residue, using every surface and leaving marks of its tremendous effort everywhere. Sleep is the cleaning crew arriving after closing. Silent, methodical, thorough. Washing every surface. Restoring every space. So that tomorrow, the kitchen is ready again. Clean. Capable. Clear. Your brain is being washed tonight. Right now. Even as you read these words and your eyes grow heavy and the spaces between thoughts grow wider and more welcoming, the process is already beginning. The glial cells are softening their grip. The channels are widening. The fluid is preparing to move. Inhale slowly, through your nose. There is also something else the sleeping brain does, equally beautiful and far less understood. It edits. Your hippocampus, the small, seahorse-shaped structure that manages the conversion of short-term experiences into long-term memory, is extraordinarily active during certain stages of sleep. It is reviewing the day. Sorting. Deciding, with a wisdom that the conscious mind could not achieve, what should be kept and what can be released. The things you need, the facts, the skills, the emotional resonances that matter, those are gently woven into the broader fabric of your long-term memory. Strengthened. Integrated. Made part of you in a way that a single day of waking experience cannot achieve on its own. Sleep does not interrupt your learning. Sleep is where learning completes itself. Exhale gently, let it all go. And the things you don't need, the small irritations, the fleeting anxieties, the memories of moments that were difficult but not defining, those are released. Not forgotten entirely, perhaps, but allowed to settle, to lose their charge, to become part of the general sediment of experience rather than sharp-edged things that cut every time they surface. Sleep is a kind of gentle editing of the self. So when you lie here and think, I should be doing something. I should be productive. I should be solving, your brain quietly, firmly, gently disagrees. You are being productive. You are solving. You are doing the things that only sleep can do. Washing. Sorting. Integrating. Releasing. The work of rest is real work. The most important work. The work that everything else depends upon. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Let your thoughts go, then, without guilt. Watch them arise, a fragment of conversation, a flash of tomorrow's list, a face, a feeling, and watch them pass. You do not need to resolve them. Your brain will do what it needs to do with them while you sleep. It has its own wisdom. A wisdom older than language, older than thought itself. The wisdom of the body. The wisdom of 3 billion years of biology learning what it needs. Your job, right now, is only to allow. To permit the process. To stop holding on. Imagine releasing your grip on every thought, one by one, like releasing balloons into a dark sky. Watch them rise. Watch them become small. Watch them disappear into the soft black nothing above you. They will still be there in the morning, the ones that matter. But smaller. Lighter. Arranged into something you can use. Exhale gently, let it all go. You are allowed to forget. You are allowed to let today dissolve at the edges. You are allowed to wake tomorrow as a slightly cleaned, slightly clearer, slightly less burdened version of yourself, because you did something brave and necessary and deeply intelligent tonight. You let yourself sleep. You let your brain do its secret, luminous, extraordinary work. In the dark. In the quiet. In the warm, heavy stillness of this night. There is a glacier in Greenland, one of many, but let us choose this one. Let us travel there in the imagination, that has been moving for approximately 100,000 years. It began forming when the climate shifted, when snowfall began to exceed snowmelt, when the layers of compressed ice started to accumulate weight and depth in the slow, inexorable gravity of sheer mass. And it has been moving ever since. Moving. But you would never see it move. Not in an afternoon. Not in a year. The glacier inches forward at a rate that makes the word movement feel almost dishonest. Some glaciers advance less than a meter per year. Some areas of the great ice sheets move a few centimeters per day, and this is considered remarkable. This is considered fast. Inhale slowly, through your nose. And yet, over the span of time that is the only span of time a glacier understands, these rivers of ice reshape mountains. They carve valleys that no other force could carve. The U-shaped valleys of the Alps, the fjords of Norway, the Great Lakes of North America, all of these were carved by glaciers. By ice that moved so slowly it was invisible, and yet wore through solid granite as though it were something soft and obliging. There is enormous power in patient slowness. A power that our waking minds, trained as they are to value speed and output and the satisfaction of visible progress, tend to underestimate profoundly. We admire the river that runs white and fast over rapids. But the glacier, moving in silence and imperceptible increments, moves mountains. Literally. Actually. Changes the shape of the world. Exhale gently, let it all go. Your rest tonight is reshaping tomorrow. You cannot see it happening. You will not feel the moment when one particular dream consolidates a particular learning, or when the glymphatic tide reaches a particular cluster of proteins and clears them away, or when a particular emotional memory is gently filed into its proper place and loses its power to ambush you in vulnerable moments. But it is happening. Slowly. Certainly. In the darkness, the way all the most important things happen. Rivers of ice do not announce their work. They do not show their progress. They simply continue, season after season, century after century, doing the thing they do by their fundamental nature. Moving through the world. Reshaping it. Leaving behind something more beautiful, more contoured, more alive with possibility than what was there before. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The slowest river in the world is not slow because it lacks force. It is slow because its force operates at a different timescale than the one we are used to measuring. The glacier is made of water, as rivers are. As you are. Your body is 70% water. The soft tissues that hold your organs. The blood that moves through your vessels. The fluid that cushions your joints. The tears that sometimes, in the dark, make their slow way down a face that has been holding too much. You are a river too. And right now you are moving at glacier speed. Which is to say, at the speed of things that matter most. At the speed of things that last. At the speed of a healing that is happening in units of experience too small to measure, but which adds up, over the long currency of rest and nights and slow attention, to something extraordinary. Exhale gently, let it all go. Let your thoughts slow. You have probably noticed, if you have been listening, that they already have. The thoughts that arrive now are different from the ones that were there at the start of this story. Slower. Less sharp. They have begun to take on the quality of water in deep cold, moving, yes, but moving as though the medium itself has thickened. As though the temperature of your mind has dropped a few degrees towards something crystalline and still. This is good. This is correct. This is what is supposed to happen. Your brain, preparing for sleep, begins to release acetylcholine and begins suppressing serotonin and norepinephrine, the chemicals of wakefulness and vigilance, and gradually, cell by cell, the urgency of the day loses its neurochemical foothold. You are not fighting sleep. Sleep is flooding slowly through you, the way water floods slowly into ice, becoming you, as you become it. Inhale slowly, through your nose. There is nowhere to arrive tonight. Nothing to accomplish. No destination on the other side of this paragraph that requires your effort. The glacier does not strain toward the valley. It simply is what it is, ice, gravity, time, and the valley comes to it, in its own season, in its own way. The landscape arranges itself around the thing that is patient enough to simply be. You are patient enough. You have always been patient enough. Even when it did not feel that way, even when you were restless and spinning and reaching for a wakefulness that had already passed, even then, your body was working with the glacial patience of something that knows how much time it actually has. Your body has always known. Exhale gently, let it all go. Let it be slow. Let tonight be the slowest thing. Let the distance between one thought and the next grow so wide that it stops being a distance and becomes instead a kind of country, a soft, dark, spacious country where there is no one to meet and nothing to do and the ground is warm and the sky is deep and the border between waking and sleeping is just a line of ice, quiet and immovable, and you have already, slowly, crossed it. Somewhere in a warm house not very different from yours, a dog is sleeping. Perhaps it is on a bed, perhaps its own, perhaps borrowed. Its paws are twitching. Small, rapid movements, as though it is running across something only it can see. Its breathing quickens for a moment. Its whiskers tremble. And then it sighs, a long, falling, thoroughly satisfied sound, and is still again. The dog is dreaming. We are quite certain of this. The patterns of brain activity recorded in sleeping dogs are strikingly similar to the patterns recorded in sleeping humans during REM sleep, the stage of sleep most associated with vivid dreaming. The same rapid eye movements. The same temporary paralysis of the large muscles. The same flickering, creative, memory-processing electrical storm of a brain that is doing something extraordinary while the body lies perfectly still. Inhale slowly, through your nose. What does the dog dream of? We cannot know exactly, and perhaps that is part of the beauty of it. But the neurologist Matthew Wilson, who has spent his career studying the dreams of rats navigating mazes, found that during sleep their brains replayed the day's explorations in miniature, the same neural patterns that fired while running the maze firing again during sleep, but compressed, quickened, rearranged. The rats were practicing. The rats were remembering. The rats were doing, in the dark, the same work your brain does every night. Sea otters, when they sleep on the surface of the ocean, hold hands. Not metaphorically, literally. They reach out their small, clever, dense-furred paws and grasp the paw of the otter beside them, so that the current does not carry them apart while they dream. They are afraid, even in sleep, of losing each other. They hold on through their dreaming, through their not knowing, through the deep dark hours when they cannot watch over each other. They simply reach out. And hold. Exhale gently, let it all go. Even octopuses, those extraordinarily alien creatures with 3 hearts and blue blood and a nervous system distributed through 8 independent arms, show signs of dreaming. Scientists observing sleeping octopuses have watched their skin ripple with color changes, flashes of orange, pulses of white, waves of dark and light moving across the chromatophores as though the sleeping animal is experiencing something vivid and strange. They change color in their sleep. They dream in color. Or something that functions like color. Something that suggests experience. Birds dream. Zebra finches, recorded during sleep, show neural patterns that correspond to the songs they are learning, their sleeping brains rehearsing the notes they are struggling to master, running through the sequences again and again in the absence of air and sound and effort. Sleep is their practice room. Sleep is where the learning that resists them in the day becomes, somehow, in the absence of all that effort, a little more possible. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Right now, while you are here in your warmth, every animal that sleeps is sleeping with you in time. Dogs in 1,000 cities are twitching through their dog dreams of grass and familiar smells and the great, sustaining joy of running. Elephants, who sleep perhaps 2 hours a night, lying on their sides like enormous slow ships, are dreaming, perhaps, of their long migrations. Whales are resting near the surface of dark oceans, one eye sometimes open, one hemisphere of their brain asleep, the other keeping gentle watch. You are in good company. Extraordinary company. The company of every breathing, dreaming creature that has ever pulled the night around itself and surrendered to the body's oldest wisdom. There is nothing strange about needing sleep. There is nothing weak about it. It is the most shared experience in the animal kingdom. It is what the living do. It is how we persist. Exhale gently, let it all go. And your dreams, when they come, and they will come, they always come, even when you think you have not dreamed, your dreams are not random. They are not noise. They are your mind telling itself its own stories, processing the unsortable, finding images for the things that resist language. Dreams have served human beings for the entirety of our existence. They have given us metaphors and insights and the raw material of creativity. They have offered comfort in grief and answers to questions the waking mind kept refusing. Your brain will dream for you tonight. It will work in the dark, the way the best work always happens, not under the pressure of observation and deadline, but in the quiet hours when the self is not watching, when the sensor is asleep, when the imagination can move freely through the landscape of the self without being stopped at every border and asked to justify its presence. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Let yourself be part of it. Part of the vast community of sleepers and dreamers that covers the whole dark face of the world tonight. The otters holding hands on the dark water. The dog twitching through a golden field. The octopus pulsing with dreamed color in a cold deep tank. The bird rehearsing, in silence, the song it has not yet learned to sing. You are one of them. You belong here, in the dark, in the dreaming. Rest now. The dreams are already waiting, soft shapes just beyond the threshold of sleep, patient and unhurried and entirely yours. You have only to close the last door of waking, and they will come in. Exhale gently, let it all go. Let them come. Silence is not the absence of sound. This is one of the first things you learn, if you listen carefully enough in a truly quiet place. Go deep enough into a forest on a windless night. Sit long enough in a room from which every machine has been removed. And you begin to hear things. A faint ringing, the sound of your own nervous system, the electrical hum of being alive. The percussion of your own heartbeat. The soft, rhythmic rasp of your own breathing. The world inside your body, which is never silent. Scientists have built rooms designed to eliminate almost all sound, anechoic chambers, lined with foam spikes that absorb everything, where the background noise level falls so far below the threshold of human experience that people can stay inside for only a few minutes before the quiet becomes overwhelming. In those rooms, people hear themselves. They hear their bones. They hear their blood. Inhale slowly, through your nose. True silence, it turns out, is something the human mind finds actively uncomfortable. We are creatures of sound. We evolved in a world of ambient noise, wind through grass, water over stones, the soft calling of night birds, the settling of trees. These sounds did not disturb our ancestors' sleep. They were the condition of safety. They meant, nothing is wrong. The world is as it should be. You can close your eyes. And scientists, measuring these ambient sounds, discovered something beautiful. They categorized the sounds of the world by frequency, by the way energy is distributed across the spectrum of what the ear can detect. And they named these categories with colors. White noise, the flat, even hiss of static, is the sound that contains all frequencies in equal measure. Like white light contains all colors. Exhale gently, let it all go. But then there is pink noise. Pink noise is different. Pink noise is weighted toward the lower frequencies, softer, warmer, deeper. And pink noise sounds, remarkably, like the world. Like rain. Like wind. Like the inside of a forest in the hours before dawn. Like the sound a waterfall makes if you stand far enough away that the violence of the falling water has resolved itself into something that is simply, continuous, soft, and warm. Studies have shown that pink noise, played quietly during sleep, increases the slow-wave activity of the sleeping brain, the deep, restorative oscillations of stage 3 sleep, where the body heals and the glymphatic system does its most thorough work. Participants exposed to pink noise during sleep showed improved memory consolidation. They woke feeling more rested. Their brains had gone deeper. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Listen, now, to the sounds in your room. Perhaps it is not silent. Perhaps there is the distant sound of a street, or the white noise of a fan, or the creak of a house settling in the cool of the night. Listen to these sounds and allow them to become pink. Allow them to stop being individual noises and become instead a single, enveloping frequency, a continuous wash of sound that is the color of the inside of a shell. A color that is warm, and deep, and steady. A color you can rest inside. The sound of rain is pink noise. The sound of a river is pink noise. The sound of wind in leaves at the edge of sleep is pink noise. When you feel yourself drawn to stand near a waterfall, or to listen to rain on a roof, or to sit by the sea when the waves are gentle and persistent, your brain is seeking this color. It is reaching for the frequency of safety. The frequency of ancient calm. Exhale gently, let it all go. There is a color for the silence between your thoughts, too. You might call it indigo, the deep, saturated blue of the sky in the last minutes before full dark. The color of the moment between wakefulness and sleep, when the thoughts have thinned to almost nothing but you have not yet let go of the last edge of awareness. It is a narrow, specific color. A beautiful one. You are moving toward it now. Feel the sound of your own breathing become pink noise, continuous, soft, repetitive in the best way. Each inhale the same as the last. Each exhale the same as the next. Not boring. Not monotonous. But reliable. Like rain that has been falling all evening and has become, not a thing you notice, but a condition of the world. The condition of warmth. The condition of peace. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Let the sounds around you, whatever they are, become part of your pink. Let them stop being interruptions and become instead the ambient fabric of the night. Let the hum of the refrigerator, the distant cars, the settling of walls, the almost inaudible sound of other lives being lived in rooms nearby, let all of it gather into a single frequency and that frequency be, rest. Safety. The world going about its quiet business and needing nothing from you. Wrap yourself in pink. Let the frequency of the world settle around your shoulders like something thick and soft and warm. Your body knows this sound. It was soothed by sound before you were born, the constant rhythm of blood through the walls of the womb, the heartbeat you listened to for 9 months before you ever heard wind or rain or the sound of a human voice. Sound was always there. Sound was the first thing. And the right sound, tonight, is the one that brings you home to the place before all other places. The warm dark. The continuous soft. The pink. Exhale gently, let it all go. Listen. Let the sound carry you. Deeper. Quieter. Into the color just beneath sleep. It is warm there. It is safe. And it is very, very quiet. Your heart has beaten approximately 100,000 times today. 100,000. You did not ask it to. You did not remind it. You did not watch over it or coax it or hold your breath to check whether it was still doing its work. You simply lived, breathed, moved, thought, felt, worried, laughed, ate, walked, and your heart, that extraordinary muscle no larger than your closed fist, simply kept going. It has been keeping going since before you were born. When you were a 6-week-old embryo, not yet large enough to fill a teaspoon, your heart was already beating. A tiny, determined, galvanic flicker in the center of something that was becoming you. It has not stopped since. Not once. Not for a single second. Through every night of your life, through every sleep, through the surgeries if you have had them, through the shocks and the griefs and the ordinary unnoticed hours, the heart kept its time. Inhale slowly, through your nose. And now, as you lie here in the gathering quiet of this night, it is slowing. You can feel it if you turn your attention there, to the center of your chest, that warm, rhythmic space behind the sternum. The beats are a little further apart than they were an hour ago. A little softer. As though the heart, recognizing the approach of sleep, is drawing its pace down like a conductor who has been keeping an orchestra at full tempo and is finally, signaling a retardando. Slow down. Like this. Exhale gently, let it all go. Your heart has its own electrical system. A specialized cluster of cells called the sinoatrial node, the SA node, generates the heartbeat from within. It does not wait for instruction from the brain. It does not rely on the conscious mind to remember to beat. It simply fires, on its own schedule, in its own rhythm, with a consistency that is almost impossible to convey without numbers, 60 to 100 times a minute, of every hour, of every day, for the entirety of a human life. But it is not rigid. The heart is responsive. It speeds for fear and slows for rest. It quickens when you run, and gentles when you are still. And as you enter sleep, as the parasympathetic nervous system begins to take over from the sympathetic, as the chemistry of the body shifts from alert to restore, the heart responds. It does not need to be told to slow. It simply feels the change in chemical environment, feels the signals from the resting body and the quieting brain, and it adjusts. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Your body knows what it is doing. This is perhaps the most important thing to understand about sleep, and about the night in general. Your body is not failing you when it cannot sleep on command. It is not broken. It is not wrong. It is, in fact, doing something extraordinarily complex and delicate, orchestrating the transition between two radically different states of being, on a schedule that is set not by clocks or by will but by the light you have seen, the temperature of your surroundings, the rhythm of your own biology. The circadian clock, the internal timekeeper that governs the sleep-wake cycle, is located in a tiny structure in the hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It is made of about 20,000 neurons. 20,000 cells, against the 100 billion of the whole brain. And yet these 20,000 cells are the timekeepers of your life. They respond to light entering the eye, they coordinate the release of melatonin in the pineal gland, they regulate your temperature and your hormone levels and your digestion and your heart rate, all in service of one elegant, ancient purpose, keeping you in rhythm with the world. Exhale gently, let it all go. The world has a rhythm. The planet turns. The light changes. the temperature drops. And your body, your extraordinary, patient, intelligent body, turns with it. You do not have to make this happen. You do not have to earn sleep or deserve it or achieve it through sufficient effort. You only have to stop preventing it. To stop fighting the tide. To let the night be what it is, the time your body was built for rest, signaling that rest, orchestrating it, conducting the slow, sacred, biological symphony of restoration. Trust your heart. It has been keeping perfect time for your entire life, and it has never missed a beat that mattered. It knows how to slow down. It has always known. And as it slows, as the space between beats grows just a little longer, a little quieter, a little more like the pause in a piece of music where the silence is as important as the sound, you can feel it. The body letting go. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Place your attention on your heartbeat for a moment. Not to control it. Not to change it. Simply to feel it. The steady, faithful percussion of your own continuing life. Thump. Pause. Thump. Pause. Feel how reliable it is. How utterly unhurried. How it has no opinion about whether tonight is a good night or a bad one, no judgment about what you did or didn't do today. It simply beats. Yours. Entirely. Steadily. For you. Now let your attention drift away from it again. Let the heartbeat recede into the background, where it has always lived, just below the level of awareness, steady as a river, keeping its own time whether you watch it or not. You don't need to monitor it. You never did. It is doing its work. And its work, right now, is slowing. Deepening. Falling into the long, gentle rhythm of sleep. Exhale gently, let it all go. Let it carry you there. The way a tide carries something that stops resisting. Smoothly, without drama, without a single moment of effort. The heart knows the way. It has made this journey every night of your life. Just fall in behind it. Let it lead. Let the rhythm slow to something that feels almost like silence between the beats. And in that silence, rest. At the center of our sun, the temperature is 15 million degrees Celsius. This is not a number the imagination can hold. At 15 million degrees, matter as we understand it no longer exists. There are only particles, stripped bare of their electrons, colliding and fusing in the incomprehensible violence of nuclear reaction. Every second, the sun converts 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium. Every second. And in the process, it releases energy. Inconceivable, ceaseless, extraordinary energy. This energy begins its journey outward from the core as a photon, a particle of light, massless, traveling at the speed of light. You might expect, given its velocity, that it would reach the sun's surface quickly. And if the sun were empty space, it would. At the speed of light, the distance from the core to the surface would take only 2.5 seconds. Inhale slowly, through your nose. But the sun is not empty. The sun is plasma, an almost incomprehensibly dense medium of charged particles, so tightly packed that a photon emitted at the core cannot travel more than a few millimeters before it collides with another particle and is absorbed. Then re-emitted. In a slightly different direction. Then absorbed again. Then re-emitted again. A random walk through the densest medium imaginable, bumping and colliding and being redirected billions upon billions of times. This journey, this extraordinary, wandering, random walk journey through the body of the sun, takes, on average, 100,000 years. A photon born at the core of our sun today will not reach the surface until approximately the year 102,025. It will spend 100,000 years bouncing through the interior of the sun, making no progress, traveling vast distances to go nowhere, before finally, by chance, it finds its way to the edge and emerges into space. Exhale gently, let it all go. And then, in 8 minutes, it reaches you. 100,000 years inside the sun. 8 minutes across 93 million miles of open space. And then it touches your face. Or it would, if it were daytime, if the sun were up. This photon, this ancient wanderer, ends its 100,000-year journey on the skin of a living creature on a small blue planet that didn't even exist when its journey began. Inhale slowly, through your nose. The sun's light is unimaginably old. The warmth you feel on your skin on a summer afternoon began its life in the core of the sun during the Pleistocene epoch, when woolly mammoths moved across the steppes, when Neanderthals and early humans shared the planet, when humans had not yet painted caves or invented agriculture or imagined cities. That warmth has been on its way to you, in one sense, for the entirety of human history. And every morning, you feel it. Every morning, ancient light touches your face. You drink your coffee and the warmth through the window is the end of a 100,000-year journey. You close your eyes and turn toward the sun and you are receiving the energy of nuclear fusion, the light of a star, the patient output of forces so vast and so old that they make human history look like a single afternoon. Exhale gently, let it all go. Tonight, there is no sun on your face. The planet has turned and placed you in shadow, as it does, reliably, every night, as it has done for 4.5 billion years. And in this shadow, in this dark, you are resting. Contributing your small, necessary, human contribution to the great patience of things. The sun is still burning. The photons are still making their 100,000-year journeys. Tomorrow morning they will find you. They will be there, ready, on the other side of this darkness. Rest is your contribution to the universe's great patience. Not fighting the dark. Not reaching for artificial light to pretend the night is day. But settling into the shadow, into the rhythm, into the turn of the planet that has always governed when living things rest and when they wake. You are in the dark because the world is turning. You are tired because you were made to be tired at this hour. And tomorrow, the light will come. Inhale slowly, through your nose. 100,000 years in the making. 8 minutes to arrive. And tomorrow, the same extraordinary patience, the same faithful delivery. You do not have to hold the sun. You do not have to make the morning come. You only have to trust that it will, because it always has, because the physics of our solar system and the faithfulness of a star that has been burning for 5 billion years and plans to burn for 5 billion more is not something that requires your management. Sleep. The sun is on its way. The light is traveling. Somewhere in the plasma of the solar core, the photon that will touch your face tomorrow morning is already beginning its long, slow, patient journey outward. You have 100,000 years to wait. Which means, for now, you have exactly the time you need to rest. Exhale gently, let it all go. Close your eyes. Let the dark be the dark. Let the planet turn. Let the ancient light travel. And let your body do the one simple, profound, sufficient thing it needs to do tonight, sleep. In 1865, a chemist named August Kekulé was struggling with a problem that had resisted the best scientific minds of his era. He knew what benzene was made of, carbon and hydrogen, 6 of each, but the structure of the molecule made no sense in any of the known configurations. He had been working on the problem for years. He had filled notebooks with attempts and revised them and filled them again. And then, one afternoon, exhausted, he fell into a doze. He dreamed of a snake. More precisely, he dreamed of a snake eating its own tail, an image ancient as human symbol-making, known as the Ouroboros. The snake circled back on itself, and the circle completed. And Kekulé woke up knowing, benzene is a ring. The 6 carbon atoms do not form a chain but a circle, bonded to each other in a closed loop, with hydrogen atoms attached around the outside. This was the structure. This was the answer. This was the insight that would eventually help establish organic chemistry as we know it. And it came while he slept. Inhale slowly, through your nose. This is not a coincidence. It is not a curious anecdote about one unusual scientist. The history of human creativity is threaded through with this pattern, the problem that resists and resists and resists the waking mind, and then dissolves, transforms, resolves in sleep. Paul McCartney heard the melody for Yesterday in a dream. Mary Shelley was visited by the vision of Frankenstein in a half-sleeping state. Dmitri Mendeleev, architect of the periodic table, dreamed the arrangement of the elements. The mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan attributed many of his most extraordinary theorems to a deity that came to him in the night. What is happening? The waking mind, for all its power, has a particular limitation: it is biased. It follows the paths it knows. It uses the strategies that have worked before. It is, in a sense, too smart, too quick to recognize familiar patterns, too confident in its existing frameworks, too attached to the solutions it has already tried. It falls into ruts the way a wheel falls into a groove, easily, automatically, without noticing it has stopped exploring. Exhale gently, let it all go. The sleeping mind has no such bias. During REM sleep, that extraordinary stage of dreaming characterized by rapid eye movements and near-complete muscle paralysis and a brain that is, paradoxically, more active than it is during quiet wakefulness, the rules of association loosen. Distant memories become adjacent. Metaphors arise that the waking mind would never permit. The snake eating its tail. The melody that has never been played. The table of elements arranged by some organizing principle the conscious chemist could not articulate but the dreaming one simply saw. Your sleeping mind is solving things tonight. It is making connections that were too surprising for your waking self to make. It is setting aside the assumptions you have been carrying all day, the givens, the should-bes, the of-courses that narrow the possible into the familiar, and finding, in the unmapped space beyond those assumptions, something new. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Whatever you are worried about, whatever the thing is that keeps circling back when you close your eyes and try to rest, your sleeping brain is aware of it. It does not need your conscious attention to work on it. It does not need your participation. You can rest. You can let go. You can set the problem down, the way you would set down a heavy bag before lying in the grass, not abandoned, just released, just placed to the side for the moment. And your dreaming mind will pick it up, will turn it over, will see it from angles that are not available in daylight. Some of the most creative people in human history have learned to trust this. Salvador Dali famously held a key in his hand as he fell asleep, with a plate placed beneath his chair. The moment he crossed into sleep proper, his hand would relax and the key would fall and the sound of it striking the plate would wake him, and he would immediately paint what he had seen in those few seconds of threshold dreaming. The hypnagogic state, it is called. The in-between. The doorway. Exhale gently, let it all go. You do not need to clutch a key. You do not need to capture your dreams or remember them or do anything with them at all. You only need to know that the work is happening. That the part of your mind that is beyond language, beyond strategy, beyond the careful waking management of the self, that part is already busy. Already finding the path through the forest that your tired conscious mind could not find today. The solution may be there in the morning. Or it may not as a solution, but as a feeling. A sense of things being lighter. A subtle shift in the way a problem presents itself, so that a door you could not find yesterday is suddenly visible. Sleep does not always deliver the answer. Sometimes it simply changes the relationship to the question. Makes it smaller. Makes it less frightening. makes it possible. Inhale slowly, through your nose. You do not need to solve anything tonight. The night is doing the solving. Your sleeping brain, the one that will be active and flickering and creatively alive even as the rest of you is still and quiet and deeply, finally resting, your sleeping brain has it. You can let go. You can trust it, the way Kekulé trusted his dozing, the way McCartney trusted his dream, the way every person who has ever woken with a solution they did not consciously search for has trusted the extraordinary, patient, creative intelligence of the sleeping mind. Let the problem go. Feel it lift from your chest, literally, if you can imagine it, feel the weight of it leave. The unanswered question, the unresolved difficulty, the thing you have been turning over and over like a stone you hope to find something meaningful under, set it down. Set it next to the bed. Tell it, if you need to tell it something, wait there. I will look at you again in the morning. And my sleeping mind will have been working on you all night. And you may be lighter by then. You may be different. Exhale gently, let it all go. Sleep. Trust. Let the extraordinary intelligence of the night do what the extraordinary intelligence of the night has always done, find, in the dark, what the light could not. Here is the last truth. The quietest one. The one that, if you let it fully arrive, might dissolve the last boundary between where you end and the darkness begins. Your hand. Look at it, in your imagination, if your eyes are closed, or in reality, if they are not. Your hand is solid. Warm. Real. You can feel the weight of it, the texture of it, the particular familiar shape of your own knuckles and the creases of your own palm. Your hand is the most real thing you know. It is the instrument of your touching, your building, your holding. It is demonstrably, undeniably, entirely there. Inhale slowly, through your nose. And it is mostly nothing. Every atom that makes up your hand, every carbon atom in the collagen of your skin, every oxygen atom in the water of your cells, every calcium atom in the bones that give your fingers their shape, every one of these atoms is, at the scale of quantum physics, almost entirely empty. The nucleus of an atom is to the atom what a marble is to a football stadium. A marble, placed at the center of a structure the size of a football stadium. The rest is space. Exhale gently, let it all go. And what moves through that space, the electrons, those extraordinary quantum particles that blur between states, that are simultaneously here and not here, that exist as probabilities rather than positions until the moment of observation collapses them into something measurable, these are the things that create the sense of solidity. The electromagnetic repulsion between electron clouds is what makes your hand feel solid when you press it against a table. Not mass. Not substance. Repulsion between almost nothings, creating the appearance of something. You are mostly space. The you that feels so heavy, so defined, so bordered and limited and real, is, at the most fundamental physical level, almost entirely empty. The atoms that make up your body are composed of 99.9999999% nothing. The particles that occupy the rest are so small that if you expanded a single atom to the size of a cathedral, the nucleus would be the size of a grain of salt on the altar. Inhale slowly, through your nose. What does this mean? Not, perhaps, what the first reaction to it suggests. It does not mean you are not real. It does not diminish your extraordinary complexity, your beauty, your significance, your feeling self. It means something both stranger and more peaceful than that. It means that the borders between you and the world are far less absolute than they appear. It means that the quality of solidity, of being a defined, boundaried, separate thing, is, in the deepest physical sense, a kind of agreement between particles. A relationship. A dance. And right now, in the dark, lying still, with your eyes closed and your breathing slow and the thoughts growing thin and far apart as threads of mist in morning air, right now, the borders are softening. The sense of where you end and the bed begins, where your warmth ends and the air begins, where the self ends and the night begins. It is all becoming less distinct. Exhale gently, let it all go. This is what deep relaxation feels like at its most essential, the body releasing its held sense of its own edges. The muscles, which are always, even at rest, maintaining a slight protective tension, a readiness, a just in case, letting that go. And in letting it go, the borders thin. The body stops being something that ends and becomes something that gradually, gently diffuses into the space around it. You are light. Not light in the sense of brightness, though there is something luminous about this, about the act of lying here and choosing to be conscious of your own extraordinary composition. Light in the sense of, not heavy. Not dense. Not as solid as you think. You are particles and space and the forces between them, and the forces are loosening now, easing, releasing their grip on the tidy shape of you. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Let the boundaries go. Imagine the outline of your body, the silhouette of it against the dark, becoming soft. Not disappearing. Not dissolving into nothing. But losing the sharpness of its edge. Becoming like the border between a sleeping river and its bank in the high heat of summer, indistinct, trembling slightly, unclear about where exactly one thing becomes another. You are part of the universe. Not in a metaphorical sense. In the most literal, physical, chemical sense possible, the atoms that make up your body were forged in the cores of stars that died billions of years before our solar system formed. The iron in your blood was made in a supernova. The calcium in your bones was made in the dying breath of a star so much larger than our sun that it ended its life in an explosion that outshone an entire galaxy for a few brief weeks. You are made of star stuff. Ancient. Cosmic. Already part of the everything. Exhale gently, let it all go. The universe is not something you are in. The universe is something you are made of. And the universe, tonight, is very, very still. Let the edges of you reach toward that stillness. Let the particles relax their vigil. Let the electromagnetic agreements that hold you in your particular shape loosen just slightly, not enough to change anything that will matter in the morning, but enough to let you feel, for a moment, the extraordinary spaciousness that is your actual nature. The openness. The mostly nothingness of which you are composed. Inhale slowly, through your nose. You are already part of the quiet universe. You have always been. Even in your most turbulent days, even in the loudest hours, even when the self felt most solid and defended and bounded, you were still 99.9% nothing, drifting in the dark, held together by invisible forces and the remarkable insistence of life on maintaining its shape. But tonight you do not need to maintain it so insistently. Tonight you can let the forces ease. Let the boundaries become permeable. Let the space between your atoms, all that extraordinary, invisible, abundant space, let it open toward the space around you, until there is no clear difference between where you end and the darkness begins. Until you are not a body lying in a bed but simply, a region of the night that is breathing. A warm patch of the universe that is resting. A temporary arrangement of ancient star stuff that has, for now, closed its eyes. Exhale gently, let it all go. Drift. Now. You are light. You are space. You are the quiet hum of particles in the dark. You are the absence of urgency. You are the pause at the end of a long and complicated sentence, where the meaning has finally settled and there is nothing left to say, and the silence that follows is not empty but full of everything that was just spoken, full of understanding, full of the particular warmth that follows completion. You are complete. Tonight is complete. There is nothing more to do, to hold, to know, to solve, to carry. The forests are speaking in the dark. The ocean is breathing. The stars are traveling. The animals are dreaming. The glacier is moving. Your heart is slowing. The ancient light is on its way. And you are mostly space, and the space is resting, and the rest is good. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Sleep now. Sleep. Exhale gently, let it all go. Closing, the sleep send-off. If you are still here, still listening, still with me in any small way, then we are near the end of our time together tonight. And that is the most natural thing in the world. Perhaps you are already asleep. Perhaps these last words are reaching you through the thin membrane of early sleep, touching you in the way that sound sometimes touches us in dreams, present but transformed, real but made soft by the distance. Inhale slowly, through your nose. Take one last breath. In through the nose. Slowly. Feel the air arrive. And now let it go. Out through the mouth. All of it. The very last of the day. Gone. Let the night hold you now. There is nothing left to do. Nowhere to be. Nothing to remember. The story is over. The wonders have been shared. And all 12 of them, the weight of your body, the language of forests, the traveling light of stars, the tide of the ocean, the wisdom of your brain, the patience of the glacier, the dreaming of animals, the color of silence, the clock of your heart, the ancient solar light, the creativity of your sleeping mind, the spacious nothingness of your beautiful self, all 12 of them are folded into you now. Quietly. Permanently. They are yours. Exhale gently, let it all go. Sleep well. You earned this rest before you ever lay down. You earned it by being alive, by carrying all that you carry, by getting through all that you got through. The night is patient. The dark is kind. And there is nothing at all, left to do but rest.